What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex, and you're watching the Ragin Ronin movie show. This is just a web series where we're talking about upcoming films that matter to me. In this episode, it's all about the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and specifically what's coming out for Phase 4. There is no official release date or official slate of films that have been announced for Phase 4 yet, but I kind of have an idea of what we're gonna get. Anyways, Captain Marvel has been making big waves at the box office. It has been out for a week. After all, this is Thursday, March 14th, and it has just made $550 million worldwide, which is huge. Disney, aka Marvel Studios, which is also Disney, has themselves another winner. It's obviously on its way to $1 billion. We just want to know how much more past $1 billion it's gonna make, because $1 billion is pretty much guaranteed. In any case, we are a month away from Avengers Endgame, the 4th installment for the Avengers franchise, not specifically the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but for Avengers. And it's such good timing because they just put out Captain Marvel, and it leads directly into Avengers Endgame, and that is just really smart timing for Marvel Studios, because now, you know, after the big box office at Captain Marvel, the studios know that, they've always known that people are gonna want that quick segue into Avengers Endgame. And I just saw the trailer, it was epic. And after Avengers Endgame is over, that marks the end of Phase 3. And then we're gonna jump into Phase 4, and the only Phase 4 film that we know of is the sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming, that's Spider-Man Far From Home, which is going to come out this summer. But beyond that, we're not going to see another Marvel Cinematic Universe film for a whole year. There hasn't been anything announced at all. And they haven't even announced which film is going to come out in that year. They just haven't announced anything. Apparently, Kevin Feige intends to make the Phase 4 official announcement for the upcoming movie slate after Avengers Endgame. And, you know, I have an idea of what he's going to announce, but of course, once he announces it as he makes an official announcement, it's going to be way more exciting than when I just speculate on what's coming out. But anyways, I'm just going to speculate for now, and I'm going to go with, in no particular order, we'll start off with Black Panther 2. That's a kind of a giving. $1.3 billion worldwide. Black Panther 2 is definitely happening just because it's a very popular film. A lot of people enjoyed it. And, well, I love the movie. I thought it has one of the greatest stories in the MCU, actually. So I really liked it. Ryan Coogler's back. And I think it's just good timing that they decided to, you know, just wait on Black Panther 2 and not put out another one too soon. Just wait a couple of years and then let's continue the story of Black Panther 2, and because there's a lot more to talk about. Next, recently it was announced maybe like a month ago that Doctor Strange 2 is happening, which is really exciting to me because I really love Doctor Strange as well, and I want to see more. I want to see more in the multiverse, or not? Is it the multiverse? The mirror dimension, and you know, the different realms. That's well, not specifically realms. The different dimensions. I want to see more of that. And Scott Derrickson, who directed the first one, is back to direct. So you know, we got another good visionary director on our hands. Now this one is a new character introduced into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Shang-Chi, who's the martial artist from China. They already announced the director. That's Daniel Cretton. And I've never seen any of his work before, but apparently it's moving forward, and they want to, and by they I mean Marvel Studios, they want to bring in the success, the same type of success that they did for Black Panther. So what they did for, you know, the African demographic, they want to do for the Asian demographic with Shang-Chi, and it's going to be the first big superhero movie with an Asian lead. So that's going to be a big one. Black Widow. Black Widow is definitely happening. It's going to be directed by Kate Shortland, and I'm actually really looking forward to this one. And I have a feeling that it's going to be a really big movie, despite the fact that Black Widow is an agent. She's a spy. She doesn't have any superpowers. But I think that alone is a selling point for the film, because we're not talking about, you know, a character like Captain Marvel who's really strong and can shoot lasers from her fists and can fly. We're just talking about a human being with a lot of good combat training and gadgets and stuff. I think that's going to be really, really cool. Might as well throw in Hawkeye as a supporting character. I think that would be a really good movie. Anyways, I'm actually looking forward to this one the most compared to everything that I have mentioned and everything that I'm going to mention later on. Next is the Eternals. The only thing I know about the Eternals is that Kevin Feige, Marvel Studios, they want to make it happen, and they want to have their very first openly gay superhero. And that's all I know so far. And I think it's going to be very interesting because they're going to delve more into the realm of the Celestials. We went into that with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 when they introduced Ego, the living planet. But there's so much more out there. Afterwards, after all the Marvel universe is so vast. There's just so much more going on. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. James Gunn won't be back to direct, but they're keeping James Gunn's original script, which is great. It's just that we don't know who's going to direct it. But we're not going to get a Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 film for, I think, for a while. I think that, you know, with the controversy surrounding it, I think they're just going to let it chill out for a bit, introduce a bunch of other films, bring in a bunch of other films, and then they're going to bring in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and we'll see what happens. I do want to see what James Gunn's new script is, and I want to see Adam Warlock. There's so much they can do with this, and we'll see what happens. Captain Marvel 2. Now, there hasn't been an announcement about or any talk about Captain Marvel 2, but there's just so much more that can be done with Captain Marvel, because like Captain Marvel, I didn't even feel was a complete movie. It was more like a tease for Avengers Endgame. I didn't think of it as, I thought of it as an origin story, but it just felt like half of an origin story. I felt like there should be more to it, but they're trying to move on to, you know, segue directly into Avengers Endgame, but I feel that they could do more of her journey before Avengers Endgame takes place. Now, you know, having it this film take place in the 90s, and having it an origin story, it makes sense, especially as a film that comes before Avengers Endgame. But I want to see, you know, her journey and adventures with the Skrulls and the Kree. You know, I want to see more of that. And I feel like they don't have to go forward in the timeline. They can go back once again to where they left off and just do it like that. And I think that would be cool. It doesn't necessarily have to go, you know, in a linear timeline. They can go back and forth and do whatever they want, just because the universe and the timeline has already been established, but there's a lot of things that we can use to fill in the blanks. You know what I'm saying? They just got to keep up that continuity. And the only other film that really hasn't been announced or even talked about at all is Ant-Man 3. And Ant-Man 3 is, you know, it's very interesting because Ant-Man 1 and 2 are one of the lower box office Marvel Cinematic Universe franchises. For some reason, even though I think that both films are superb, especially the first one, it just doesn't get the same sort of love that the other characters get. I mean, I liked Ant-Man more than Doctor Strange, but, you know, the first Ant-Man only made $500 million, whereas Doctor Strange made like $650 million. So, you know, I don't really get why Ant-Man is doing less than a lot of the other characters. But in any case, I do want to see Ant-Man 3. But the thing about Ant-Man 3 is that I actually, as much as I love Scott Lang, played by Paul Rudd, I actually want to see a movie that's focused on Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne. I want to see that prequel movie where they're fighting the Russians and seeing his adventures during the Cold War or whatever adventures that they were in. I would love to see that story because, you know, they did a great job de-aging Michael Douglas. They did an excellent and an incredible job de-aging Samuel Jackson. They could continue doing that for Ant-Man 3, which would be a prequel. So maybe it could be Ant-Man and the Wasp, 1980s version or whatever. You know how they're doing Wonder Woman 1984? They could do Ant-Man 1980s or 1970s. So that would be cool. And it's essentially Ant-Man and the Wasp again, but with the original heroes. Janet Van Dyne and Hank Pym. That would be really, really cool. I would love to see it because I also do love the Hank Pym character. He's just very genuine. I love that about him. He's not like I love Paul Rudd's comic timing and just the way he is. He's just a really fun, likable guy. But I don't want to see more of Hank Pym. That would be really, really cool. And I hope Marvel decides to open their, have an open mind and decide to, not only go with Scott Lang's Ant-Man story, but also do something with Hank Pym. I think Michael Douglas would love to play that character again. And there you have it. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 films that could potentially be announced. 6 for sure, but definitely would be cool to have Ant-Man 3 and Captain Marvel 2 in there. I really enjoyed Captain Marvel 2. Captain Marvel. I think that Captain Marvel 2 could be an even better film. Now that the character's established, then we can establish some more of her weaknesses. Because as you already know, like Captain Marvel is just totally overpowered in the first film. So let's see more of her weaknesses. I think that's how they can make the second film a better movie. Anyways, that's all I got to say in this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And let me know what you're looking forward to. As always, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter, Ragin Nation. My name is Alex. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.